All right, hey guys, what's going on? I got a new series for you. I'm going to try and do a classroom, and I'm going to try and make it about drag or related to going fast. I just want to help those guys out that are either starting out new or have questions about why is my car doing this and this, whatever. I have some potential answers for you about all the stuff that I've ever done to this car. I want to be able to help you guys out and help you get a little bit faster. So I'm going to make a classroom today. We're just going to start off with the body. A lot of people have been commenting saying, why is my car going this way? I have my suspension dialed, my tires are dialed. It should have hit this. Why is it doing this? Why is it crashing? Well, the body could be it. And I'm going to start with the body today is because it's the biggest part. But I want to hear some feedback from you guys saying if you guys like this or if you want me to expand on it. I could do tires, suspension, electronics. I can go far into this, but I need you guys to comment and say if you would like more of this. So today, we're going to start off with the bodies and what I would suggest doing if it's your first body, if it's a stock body, you want to get another body, what I would personally suggest to do to either make you faster, make it stiffer, make it lighter, or anything in between. So let's get into it. There's a couple different things that I would do just to get your body to be faster. Now, it depends on what you're running for, either a box stock class, pro stock, outlaw, or whatever. So you always want to make sure that you're in the class that you want to be. I'll provide 2 links in the description of different rule sets for different classes and all that, just in case you are in a class, you want to double check something. Maybe you can't trim the body. Maybe you can. It all depends. Maybe you can add a wing. Maybe you can't add a wing. It all depends. So make sure you double check with the rules before you go out and do this. But if you're like me, not really running rules, you're just trying to have fun and go fast, that really doesn't apply. But for those guys that do want to be in the rules, there's 2 links down in the description that'll give you the full description of what you can and can't do. So we're going to start off with this body here. What I would suggest, if you're starting out with a brand new body, just like how I did with this one. So this is an 18 Mustang. And as you notice, I've done a bunch of trimming to this body. And what I've done is I've cut out the bumper entirely. So all that this does is it lets that air that gets inside of your car. So when the air comes in, it'll get inside of your car. That's considered dirty air. You don't want that because if this bumper was fully on, all that air that gets stuck inside, it's kind of like an air brake, and that's making resistance on your electronics, on your tires, on your suspension. It's holding your car back. If you imagine the air coming through, hitting that bumper, you have to force through with the power of your electronics to get past that air. So by eliminating this pocket or the rear bumper, you'll let all of that air slide right through and right out the back. That's your number one. That's a speed tip for the bodies. I've done it on pretty much all of them. The 18 Mustang, the 63 Corvette also has no rear bumper, and this new 18 Mustang only has a little bit. And there's a reason why I have just a little bit, which we'll get into. So now with the rear bumper cutout, you'll notice that the bodies are pretty flimsy. So if you're having a problem that's making your body flimsy, or your aero is, these bodies aren't very thick, so they're very flimsy. Now, how I counteract that, if you go on to like these different websites, Drag Race Concepts or anything like that, they'll sell these. These are just body braces, these little posts right here. I don't buy them, I make them. These are 2mm carbon cut into 4-inch strips. And then I just use these electrical eyelets to put a screw and nut through. And then, it significantly increases the stiffness of your body. Now, the reason I have them at the rear is because this body probably won't be a great example, but there's no braces in the rear. It's super flimsy. Whereas this one, if I were to push on this, it would not be flimsy at all. Those are another tip. They're easy to make, or you can buy them. They're just body braces. I would look into those because they will significantly stiffen up your body, and any aero that you're pushing, whether it be a wing or side aero or diffuser, anything, it'll increase the stiffness, which increases the reliability of your aero. If it's loose like this, you don't know, maybe a gust of wind comes, maybe it forces it. Well, guess what? If this comes in, your car's going left or right. Depends on whichever way the wind is blowing, anything like that. With those braces, it gives you reliability on how your car is going to go down because your body is a lot stiffer. So now if we look into the 63 Stingray, you'll notice I have a ton of carbon fiber braces in here. That is just to stiffen up the body. If I were to have or disconnect any of these braces, it would be super flimsy, but this significantly strengthens the body. And they're not much. They're cheap to do, and they're super lightweight, being carbon fiber. They're stiff, they're great. Highly recommend those. Let's get into wings though. This wing has kind of been controversial. A lot of people are saying that's too much wing, which yes, it is. It's a big wing. It's 3 inches long by the height of the body's roof, which is a rule that's the maximum wing that you're allowed to put on a body like this. So the reason you would want to run a wing this big, especially with these large side splitters, I guess you would call them, or diffusers, probably got that wrong, but you know what I mean. These large fins off the side, this is all the arrow on the side is your stability arrow. If you've ever watched any of my videos, you'll notice this car in particular will drive as straight as an arrow pretty much all the time unless I have a problem with my tires. This is a very simple way of figuring out, is it my suspension? Is it my tires? Is it my traction? It's not the body, because I know, unless my wing is broken, but I know for a fact that if it's not windy, this body will run straight because the amount of side deflection arrow that I have on this. Almost 100% of the time, this car will drive straight. This car has actually run 132 foot on the wheelie bar the whole time, no steering allowed, just full throttle all the way down. This is super reliable for just going straight, but there are downsides to this. Once you get fast enough, just like the 132 foot wheelie, there's so much downward pressure caused by this wing, or downforce caused by this wing, you're bound to lift the front. Unless you have a ton of front weight, this car will always wheelie pretty much all the time. So once you get into the faster speeds, you don't want a wing like this. Now that brings us into this body. This body is a lot lighter. This has a lot less layers of paint, which is lightening it up. The stickers are, you know, those are grams, but they look cool, and that's a compromise I was willing to make. But with all the body trimmings and everything into it, there's no wing. This body is much lighter than the 63, and with no wing, I can achieve a lot faster results because my weight ratio of the car is dialed to the point where it's either 30-70 or 40-60, depending on which type of track I'm running. But I'll get into that in separate videos if you guys want. But this car having no wing, there's a lot less downforce, which means I can bring the power in down track a lot harder than I could for, say, this car. The launch is great on this car. The launch is not great on this car. But it depends on how the track reacts, which is why I would run this body. If the launch is really good, I'll run this because I know I can push the power down track because there's no wing on the back. There's very, very minimal downforce coming off of this car. Whereas if the grip is horrible, I'll run this car because I know with this wing, I can get a lot more power down right away. It's just on the top end, which I would run smaller gearing with this bigger wing. I would run taller gearing without this wing. It's kind of the way I think of it, which is why I like a bunch of different options. But now let's get into mounting the body, because I've had this 18 Mustang, which is kind of a combination of the no wing and lightweight versus all the wing and heavyweight. Let's get into this guy now, because this is the intermediate between the fast, the slow, and the all around. So getting into this body, all I've done is I've trimmed the front. This is on every single body. Once you're putting braking pressure, it won't do this on this body, and I'll explain why this car will never touch the ground, whereas these cars will touch the ground. I'll explain it. When I hit the brakes, your body will flex down. I'll try and show you here. Your car will flex down, very over exaggerated, but it'll flex down and it'll rub the front. So on every single body, the front bumper is trimmed as low as I can possibly get it where the car is running and braking. So just giving it the edge of lip right there. Take that completely off, take the rear bumper off, get it as low as you possibly can. I can barely stick my fingers under there. You want it as tight down to the ground as you possibly can. The only reason that this one doesn't touch the ground is because the mounting systems. So the mounting is actually on the hubs now, which makes it connected fully to the live action of the tires. So the hub will force it down, and as you notice, I'm putting a lot of pressure. The body will never touch the ground. Whereas before, previous, whether it be that body or the 18 Mustang, if I push down on the back, the suspension is moving, meaning the chassis is moving with the body, and this side would be floating. It'll be hard to say because my suspension is different right now, but it should lower these tires and raise these tires, or sorry, it should lower and raise the chassis before the body will ever move. It's hard to see, but you can see a little bit of flex in there. There's not a lot of travel on these shocks at the moment, but that's the main difference of this. If I were to raise this body, the chassis will stay level and the body will come up, meaning that suspension is working as my body's aero. Whereas this would be the same as the rear. The body is working with my chassis suspension. Completely different. So now, in hoping to keep this video a little bit short, I'm going to talk about the mounting and talk about why I'm going to run this. With these, the straps is another tip for you guys. If you guys flip, the straps keep your body pins on. With these body pins, they almost never hit the ground, which is why I don't have straps. And I also added, rather than carbon fiber rod, just another little side post to keep my body 100% rigid right where I need it, right by the tires. Now, I trim for my tires to be fully expanded inside of the car without hitting the body, because I have pop tires that way where they expand fully and they would hit the body. This car is a very over exaggerated compared to the front, a lot bigger in the rear, just to provide space for my tires to expand as I'm running down the track. But for these, same thing. I just like to kind of keep it tight, but as small as I possibly can without any touching at all. And now physically on the car, this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying a floating hub. I just put one screw through it, but it's connected to the hub. Now with it moving, it's not going to move with the car on. So that is completely fine. You can get away with one. If you want, you can do two, but it really doesn't matter. These are as well. A lot of people don't have these splitters on. This is something that I added and found that really works for me. Provides some aero because it's downward facing, provides aero. For me, it works. If you want something like this, I can do an aero video as well, explaining why this works and why maybe it wouldn't and how to adjust it. Then I added body posts to stiffen up the sides without adding the carbon fiber rod to the body, keep the body lightweight, but very stiff. And then a carbon fiber deck that pushes the original mounting point that would be here, pushes it out, which creates a little bit more downforce because that leverage arm comes back and now the leverage is forcing down here, providing downforce from this carbon fiber plate. So the further back it is, that's more leverage, it creates a swing and it forces down. That's pretty much it there. With this body, you can see how flimsy this is. This is not a very stiff body. The only reason I haven't cut out that rear is because I'm running a Lexan wing. If I was running a carbon fiber wing, the whole rear of that car would be cut out. But the only reason I'm still running that back half, and which I probably will trim out, is just because this wing is very lightweight, the same as the body. And then cleaning the bodies, you always want to make sure that your bodies are clean, whether your tires kick up dirt or mud or anything onto the underside of your body. You can see some burnt rubber and some tire prep and whatever else, simple green, whatever. You want to always get rid of that. I just haven't washed this body. You always want to get rid of that because if anything falls onto your tires could catch. Ran is pretty much aborted at that point because your tires will catch, spin, and then you're screwed. So always keep your bodies clean, and that's what I use back there. That's a ceramic detailer, same as kind of like a wax. Keeps your body super clean, super easy to clean after it, just with a hose or anything. Clean bodies are fast bodies, so always do that. But a simple rundown of what I've got going on every single body and every single tip. Cut out the rear end for maximum efficiency and actually maximum cooling, because as the air comes back, It'll cool your ESC, cool your motor, and get sucked out. It's not just a push out, it's a suck out because of all of the other aero factors that are pulling it out. So trimming the rear end, very important. Bracing the body for increased stiffness and reliability, very important. I would say floaters are also very important because when you push down, all of that force is getting directed into your hubs, into your tires, leaving your chassis able to float on its own. It's also very important for your suspension and your system of dialing, all of that, and where you're mounting it compared to where your body is. So my mounting system is far back to get increased downforce while keeping it lightweight. You'd want to take all of that into effect while you're designing or planning out a body. And then the last thing, very important, is to trim out your wheel wells just to make sure that you have as much expansion out of your tires as possible. If I was looking at this tire, this is a non-belted stock tire. So this tire will probably get out to about there with all the expansion from the under and the side. You just want to make sure that you have enough space that your tires don't clip your body as you're running down track. If something hits it, folds in, could pop your tire. I've had it happen and it really sucks. And I think that these trimming techniques of making it as small but as big as possible, I think it still looks good. So find the design that works, but save your tires. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm trying to make these videos a little bit shorter. This first one will be a little bit longer. I just kind of want to catch my rhythm of making these videos. But let me know what you guys think, because I want to start a series like this to help the guys that have the questions, that help the newcomers, somebody that wants to get into drag. They can do all of these simple tricks and be a lot faster and have a lot more fun without that headache of, why is my car stuttering? You know, I've had those troubles before and I want to help people if I can. So leave a comment what you guys think. If you like this, leave a like. If you don't, let me know what you don't like about it. I want to figure this out and I want to get good. So like and subscribe for sure. Subscribe if you want to see more. I'm going to be running the drag car with all of the different setups, and I can explain more in detail with my next videos. But winter's around the corner. We got a lot of different cars that we can run. Yeah, make sure you subscribe and just let me know what you think, guys. But other than that, have a great night, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.